Maybe I should start that again. Yeah. Happy Wednesday to you all. Thanks for tuning in to House of Alex episode 4. I know it's been a while since my last episode, and the reason being for that is because I've just been so busy at uni. The free time that I do have when I'm not doing uni, I'd rather not actually create any videos because I don't know, it just takes up a lot of time and energy. And I did know this before I even started doing this channel, but that was the whole purpose of this channel is to show you how my journey goes, and I want to bring you in on that. So this video is more just like an update of what's been going on because there's been a lot that's gone on, and yeah, it's a bit of a shame that I haven't been able to record any of that process, but I think verbal is still pretty good. We're having a chat, we're chatting. In terms of where I'm at, I am on my 10th week of uni, which is 3 or 4 weeks till the end of semester, which is crazy to think that I've already completed half a year of uni already. So that just blows my mind. Also just the fact that every unit has provided some sort of value to how I see art and how I feel about art. My whole perception actually on art has changed since I started uni, which to think in 10 weeks of learning something and different subjects, I would have never thought that this was would be possible. To tell you a bit of an update in regards to uni, if you aren't aware or you haven't watched my previous videos, I'm currently studying 4 units. One is called Communicating Ideas, which is looking at media and cultural studies, representation and ideology, etc., etc. That's been very insightful and very eye-opening to see how society and mass culture were shaped pretty much. And then I'm doing a creativity unit where we're focusing on a creative project and then writing an exegesis based on that creative project. And then I'm doing a photo media unit, which is focusing on pretty much the introductory to photography. It's not so much telling you how to use a camera, but it's more so getting you out there and shooting and coming familiar with the camera and learning the camera as you go. And having a set of tasks in relation to the types of photos that you take. So for example, shallow depth of field, a point of tension, point of view, just all these random tasks that we have to submit. And then lastly is my visual arts unit, where I've spent the first 4 weeks doing painting, and then I've spent the following 4 weeks doing printmaking, and now my last 4 weeks I'm doing drawing. So the thing that I want to talk about mostly is my actual visual arts unit. The first 4 weeks was pretty challenging because I'm not drawn to painting. So for me, I guess going out of my comfort zone and kind of being familiar with the products that we're, the materials and mediums that we're using in relation to painting, and also kind of just researching all of the different key artists in that unit. What I really enjoyed about that particular 4 weeks was being exposed to all these really good artists that range from classic to modern to contemporary, and really understanding their process, because painting isn't just getting a photo and painting it. Painting has so many elements to it, as well as all types of art. So it was really good to be exposed to all of these artists, just because it opens your eyes to seeing art in a different light and how other people process their art. I found that really challenging, that unit, which I'm really surprised because I got a high distinction. When I received my mark, I was like, what? So random. But they don't just mark on what your image looks like. They mark on your understanding of painting and your understanding of the technical process and your understanding of key artists and their journey and what they've been up to, or what they were up to during that whole process. And then of course they see if you're able to translate what you've learned in your painting. Of course everyone's painting is going to be different. I think I kind of had this thought in my head that I had to, it had to be a certain way, it had to look a certain way. But so funny, my teacher said to me, because I asked for his help or his opinion on my art, on my painting, and he says, intuitively it tells me that you don't like it and you're bored. Which, yeah, he was right. His intuition was correct. So I had to kind of completely get out of my head, go back to my reference photo. I had to really plug away at it. So then after the 4 weeks of painting, I moved into printmaking, and I've never done printmaking in my life before. So for me, I was actually really excited to learn something new and just kind of evolve my art practice a little bit more. In that unit particularly, we were focusing on multiple selves and really trying to draw out different selves and different ways that we see ourselves and understand ourselves. And there's all different ways that you can do printmaking, and we learned to do dry point, which is basically getting a transparent piece of plastic and then just scratching the surface to create like an indent, so then the ink can go into those cravats, and then you're able to print to a piece of paper. When we printed it, we were able to see like, you know, how it came out, how the end result came out, but then also like learn different types of techniques. One being a la poupe, which is using 2 different colored prints, and chinquile, which is using like more of tissue paper, or making it more of like a collage art rather than just it being the scratch surface. So I thought that like all these different processes that we dabbled in was very interesting, and you can see like how you can experiment and find your own way through that. With printmaking, I think you have to brainstorm in terms of the fact that, okay, if I'm feeling a certain way, what do people see as, say for example, like if I'm feeling like sad or lonely or whatever, how can I translate that in print but not say or show an emotion that I'm sad? Okay, maybe it could be via the space, negative space, or the fact that I feel claustrophobic, so there's a lot of information in there. So it's not just thinking about drawing a photo, it's thinking about all of the other elements that are in that particular drawing. I found that to be really handy in terms of the fact, in terms of my creativity project that I'm doing, because I really wanted to encapsulate jazz history, but with finding or going through this process of this creative project, I'm not actually trying to find or encapsulate jazz history. I'm trying to show how jazz and myself work together, or how I feel about jazz. And how I've been able to do that is kind of like with printmaking, because the marks in general reflect the music and the energy and the frequency that gives off. But also I'm able to do multiple prints to kind of give that effect that I want, or that feeling that it means more than face value, which everything in life means more than face value. So printmaking was really fun, and we just finished up with that last week, and now I'm into drawing. And yeah, I really love drawing. I love drawing so much. Like charcoal drawing is my favorite. If nobody knows that, then you need to go and check out my Instagram. But yeah, charcoal is my favorite, and with drawing it's more like exploration. You're doing more of an observational drawing, and I think the thing that I really like the most about my drawing class already is the fact that my teacher's like, we're not here to copy something and get it exact, because like I already knew that about drawing anyways, but like it's that mind game of it needs to look like this, it needs to act a certain way, it needs to please a certain people, but it's like you can observe that subject and still draw out the emotion and conversation and put it on a piece of paper just by looking at what you're seeing. And whatever you're observing and you're seeing on a psychological level or in your subconscious, it's going to translate different to what the actual thing is or the subject is. I don't know if you can see behind me, I have this piece here, which is probably blurry because I'm in the foreground of the camera focus. But this photo here in particular is what we did yesterday in drawing. And the idea or the concept of yesterday's class was to get a mirror, put it on the table, look over the mirror, and then draw from what you see. And I found that to be really insightful again, because you're generally when you're drawing someone, you're drawing from either front on or to the side, but by having a mirror on the table and having to observe what you look like, it distorts everything. It makes your head look further away, makes your chin look bigger, makes your ears not sit directly where your eye line is, a bit lower where your mouth is maybe. You're able to just draw out all of these other elements because you're observing things that you're not used to seeing. So I find that activity was really helpful in the fact that it just gets you out of that comfort zone, the mind just going straight to perfectionism, like this is what I'm seeing, this is what I want to draw. But it's about the process, about observing what you're seeing, focusing on that, and then how you present it on a piece of paper. So in this one here, I used Sharpie to carve out my face and my markings and the highlights and shadows. But then I went over it with oil pastel to get a bit more experimental and kind of see how the 3D elements would come together and like bring it forward, bring structure to the image. And I think during this whole process of uni, I've realized two things. There's two things that I've realized at uni. One, my artwork is very sculpture-like. It's very 3D based. And two, when it comes to photography, I have this subconscious pull to do like reflection photos. So I guess the term is like surrealism photography. And never knew this before until someone has gone, you know what? I think that you should really look into this process because I can see what you're trying to do here. And if you try and focus on too many different ways to take photos, then you kind of lose that. So focus and hone your energy into taking photos like this. Crazy. That's in relation to art. I've learned so much in my other units, which I'm not even going to get into because that might take a little bit. But yeah, so that's uni. That's my update with uni. That's where I'm at. 3 to 4 more weeks left. I'm super happy and proud of myself that I've even gotten this far. I just enjoy it so much. Like, honestly, the fact that I'm learning all the time and it be about something that I'm passionate about makes me so happy. And it just, I don't know, I can't explain it. Anyways, yeah, so I got a new job being an art tech, and that is pretty much just to help the art teachers at this school on Saturdays. And it's pretty much just running around and seeing if they need anything, helping them out in certain things, the demonstrations, or reorganize. It's kind of like a hairdresser's apprentice, but with art. And I really don't care too much about what I'm doing. It's more the fact that I'm taking in the experience and allowing myself to be open to networking and meeting new people and just immersing myself in this whole art environment, because like I said before, I've never been in these kinds of environments before or been around these types of people. And oh my God, they're so nice, they're so chill, there's no agenda, there's no politics. It's literally the ego is extracted, and I'm there to teach these kids how to do art, and I really appreciate that so much. It's so nice to be around. The energy there is just, it's amazing. So I'm happy I'm doing that. The thing that I've learned the most is, about art is in the industry, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, but also about what you know as well. But first and foremost, it is about who you know. So I think networking is a massive thing in relation to progression as an artist. So there's that. My art is now in a cafe in Mount Hawthorn. New Noir is the cafe that it's called. It's on Oxford Street in Mount Hawthorn. I'm pretty sure it's Mount Hawthorn. It could be on the cusp. Leaderville, Mount Hawthorn. I'm pretty sure it's Mount Hawthorn. Yeah, so my artwork's in there. Ale, who's the owner, he got in contact with me and said that I could put whatever artwork I wanted to in his cafe. So that was, I was actually quite shocked, but also quite honoured for that opportunity. I've never had anyone ask me to put my artwork in their cafe, so the fact that it's now out there and people are being exposed to my art, it's not even about how much money I make with art. My art has always been about what my art can bring to people. Pouring energy into an art piece and creating a soul from it, or just like being able to express myself in this form is my driver for art. And just being passionate about how other artists have done it as well. There's been artists that devote literally their life doing still life every single day, but playing with the shadows and the highlights and how the objects work with one another. Like, everyone has this particular way of doing art and self-expression and getting the information that they're seeing onto a canvas or drawing whatever's already there forward on the canvas. So anyways, yeah, so my art is now at Noir Boutique Cafe in Mount Hawthorn if you wanted to check it out. I definitely recommend going in there, not just for my artwork, but for others. Coffee, because it's just delicious and it's strong and it's rich. Oh, it actually really is. It's quite nice. Another thing that I've done recently is my mate from work, he started a podcast with his friend Albert, and they had a guest feature, which was me. And on that podcast, we started talking about my art journey and my spiritual journey and kind of just like how I've come to where I am now, and just my story, my journey. And yeah, to be honest, I was quite nervous. You probably can't hear it because the editing is pretty good, but yeah, I was quite nervous. First podcast I've ever done. I'm not someone who's like a professional oral speaker. I am someone who, you see me face value, this is literally how I talk. With that said, the podcast is very interesting. I also highly recommend you to go and listen to that if you have a spare half an hour. If anything, I'll link it in the description below, so it's easy to just... Curious Ramblings is what the podcast is about, and these fellas like to talk about curious things. Would You Drink It, which is a segment about blending things that taste good in solid form, but does it taste good blended? So that's a segment there, and then they talk about like what would you rather, some facts that they've seen or heard over the week. It's a mix of things, a mix of interesting topics, and then they get a guest on every single week, so it kind of gives it this balance of things that they're interested or curious about, and then listening to another person's perspective about life, or just having a general chat with their mates. So yeah, Curious Ramblings, it's in the description below. I'll if you have listened to it, then message me or message the, I don't know if you can leave a comment on the podcast. Probably. But yeah, leave a message on the podcast. Tell us what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, what you want me to elaborate on. And same with these videos. If you want me to talk about something in particular, I'll definitely keep it in mind. So if we're keeping on the subject of art, I've got in the works, my website is currently under construction. I'm creating a product page where you can then eventually buy my prints. Yeah, that's in the works. I'm actually really excited about that because, you know, there's never been a one place for anyone to buy my artwork. So I'm really happy and excited that my website will finally have a product page where you can add to the cart, buy it, gets directly sent to you, and then you can put it up in your home. Also, I've kind of decided that I'm gonna sell my photos. My photography, I take all these photos, but I do nothing with them. And I thought, what's the point of it sitting in a folder on my hard drive when these photos could actually probably be in someone else's home or an office or wherever? There's no purpose of these photos just sitting in a folder and not being appreciated by other people. So yeah, that's another thing that you can eventually buy on my website. I'm so excited about it. Seriously, things are just lining up, and I have no control over all of these things that are coming in because I've let go of all of the expectation, all of the control over my destiny, I guess you would say. Like, obviously there needs to be some sort of like goals or planning or whatever, but in terms of the actual end result and when it comes, that I've let go of control, because everything comes at the right time in the right place. It's all about patience, and I think that a lot of people these days lack patience because we live in this kind of instant gratification society that patience no longer really exists. So that's another thing that's in the works. Oh, this cacao, it's gonna keep me going. So I guess like the last update that's happened, or that has sort of like been in past and continuing, is that I've joined the Hopes and Dreams Community Club, which is a photography and music based community which is run by a few people, but one of the main people is Taku Beats, who is a Perth musician. Yeah, so this photo and music community is so insightful, and it helps push you outside of your comfort zone a little bit more. It helps you get out to want to shoot photos, or helps you want to create music. And the thing that I like most about it is that you have these people who are egoless. They're there because you're all there for the same reason. It's to be a part of a community that you you love the information, and you love the practice, you love the aspect of it, and it's all just about support and learning and growing from each other, and that's what I really enjoy about this community. So then there's that. So yeah, just to summarize, I've new job, art technician. I got my art prints that are in a cafe. On my website soon enough there's going to be my art prints where you can buy, and also photography, or a list of photos that I'm going to sell online. And I'm on a podcast with a mate from work and his mate, talking about my art journey and my spirituality journey to now. And yeah, my update with uni, like there's so much going on, so much. And I hope you can appreciate why I haven't been able to create any videos. It's been really chaotic, and I'm so open to every opportunity, anything that in the works of what my soul's journey, my soul's purpose is. But the last thing that I really wanted to touch on is having a supportive person around you really does help the process of getting out of your comfort zone and continuously challenging yourself and continuously pushing your barriers. You can definitely do it by yourself, by all means, yes. But I also feel like if you have a supportive person there with you, it's easy to bounce off each other. It's easy to create conversations and hear a different perspective or hear a different point of view. Because if you're by yourself, you're kind of like just thinking about what you would think about and not take into consideration other perspectives or aspects in a particular situation. Yeah, I would never take that for granted. I love my husband so much, and he's the most supportive person in my life ever. And yeah, I'm so grateful to have him, because yeah, I guess I wouldn't be creating these videos if I also didn't have him pushing me to do so. Not so much like pushing bad, but like giving me that confirmation that yeah, you should, like, I think this is a good idea. So thanks, mate, love ya. Although you can be a bit of a shit sometimes, we have great banter. So yeah, that's all. I guess this segment is called What's Been Happening segment. It's not so much a video showing you what's been happening, but it's more just a conversation to tell you what's been going on in my life right now, or that has been going in my life since my last video. And yeah, I finally found a couple of friends, which is good. I think the more you spend with people in a non-negative way, like the more you spend time with people, the more you're able to understand them as human beings and actually give them the time of day, rather than just thinking as, oh, well, I'm only going to see you for like this amount of time. But I think that that's a wrong attitude to have, because these people that you have in your life, they're either going to be in your life forever, or they're just going to be passing by, and it doesn't matter what one of those entails. Like, you still treat those people with respect and kind of get to know them a little bit. Even if your friendships do pass, like, there should be no malice, or there should be no disrespect, because at the end of the day, you might just be on different paths. It doesn't mean that you should think less of them as a person. It just means that you both highly respect each other whether you see them again or not. But yeah, everyone that comes into your life should be celebrated because you learned something from them to help you grow as a person and to keep continuing to grow and meet new people as well. So yeah, the people that I've met are fun, you know. I've met a few people at uni, and I'm quite happy to not sit by myself all the time anymore. No, I'm pretty independent, so I actually don't care. I actually really enjoy being by myself. I'm having like lunch and I'm by myself. I don't care what other people think. If I'm sitting by myself, I don't care if I've got no friends. Like, to me, what's more important is that I'm there to learn what I'm supposed to learn. And if I make a friend along the way, excellent. If I network along the way, excellent. Like, to me, those are all added extra bonuses into this whole journey. The whole path of this university experience is for all of these ebbs and flows to come in, and I'm so immensely grateful for this. And there's a garbage truck right out in front of my window. Probably gonna walk to Restore now. Thank you so much for watching my video. Stay tuned for episode 5. Hopefully I'll have some footage back then in the future, but don't hold me to it because, like I said, a bit busy. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and taking time out of your day to watch it. I'm immensely grateful for you as always. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next episode. Ciao. I think I just took myself out. See you in the next episode. Ciao.